What's going on, everybody? I'm Screech. You're watching Retro Card Collector, and this is episode 4 of my 10 games of my NES Collection series. Kicking this off, number 31 is gonna be Double Dragon. Now, Double Dragon is a classic game. Double Dragon is awesome. I'm sure we all have fond memories of Double Dragon. It's a lot of fun. It's a super cool game. I have a lot of fond memories of playing it as a kid, and everyone talked about it. Everyone thought Double Dragon was so cool, right? It was the talk of the playground when it came out, and everyone enjoyed it. Number 31 on my list is going to be Double Dragon. Number 32 on my list has got a confusing title. I'm sure a lot of us were a little confused by it as a whole. Number 32 on my list is going to be The Goonies number 2. The Goonies 2. Why did we name it The Goonies 2? Apparently it's like after the movie, and everyone loved the movie. The Goonies is awesome. If you haven't seen The Goonies, you should watch The Goonies. Goonies 2, it's kind of a sequel to the movie. It's got a super confusing map system where you go through a door, come out on the other side. It's hard to make your way around it, but it's an interesting game. It's got a lot of cool little features to it. I would check it out if you haven't. Number 32 on my list, The Goonies 2. On to number 33 on my list. Now, number 33, I have fond memories of playing in a family friend's basement. They used to babysit us as kids, and I remember playing it down in there where my mom was having coffee with their parents, and I have really fond memories of it. Number 33 is going to be Dragon Warrior. Number 1, the first Dragon Warrior. Now, this one would have been, I believe, my very first introduction as a whole to role-play games, to those JRPGs. And I remember sitting in that basement and playing it. It was the only game that they had down there. And I remember putting it in, playing it on the big TV. Like, they had one of those big wooden, it's like in an armoire TVs. It's like a whole kitchen cabinet around a TV screen. They're just ginormous, right? I remember sitting there and playing this in their basement. And the little slimes were so cool to me. And it's a really cool game. I'm excited to get back into it. I'm excited to do a play episode of it and pick up some highlights in it as I go. I've never beat this one, so I'm excited to get into it. I'm also excited to build on my collection of the Dragon Warrior series. So number 33 on my list is going to be Dragon Warrior. So in volume 2 of this, we talked about Monster Party. Now, if you weren't sure in that volume, if you haven't watched that volume, go back and watch them. We're on to volume 4 here, so watch the first 3, get caught up, come back to this. And in volume 2, I talk about Monster Party, and there was a game that I thought was like the same as it as a kid, but I thought this other one had a lot of more advertising. So I thought this one was a little higher status than Monster Party. That game, if you weren't sure what it was when I was talking about it, was going to be Little Nemo Dream Master. So Little Nemo Dream Master is number 34 on my list, and it's a really fun game. I remember wishing I had this one as a kid and thinking, oh, if it's better than Monster Party, it's gonna be so good. I think they're about the same now that I played them both. They both have a lot of really good features and qualities behind them, and they're both really fun games. That's the memory I have of this, because I never played this one as a kid. I took till I was an adult so I could get it for myself to try it out, because I had Monster Party and that was what I was playing at the time. So number 34 on my list is going to be Little Nemo Dream Master. Number 35 on my list is a puzzle one, and a fun puzzle one. I really enjoy this whole series of games. Right now I have 2 of them. I have played the third one in the past, but number 35 on my list is going to be The Adventures of Lolo. Lolo is so cute. Like, Nintendo, if you're listening, I know you're not, because I've got like 60 subscribers at this point, but if any of you know anyone that has a cousin's, sister's, brother's former roommate,
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate
that works at Nintendo, bring back Lolo. Like, I know Kirby kind of stepped in front of him and was pink and cute, but Lolo's awesome. Bring back Lolo. Let's have more Lolo games. The Adventures of Lolo is a really fun puzzle game that can get a little tough sometimes. I remember playing this one at the neighbor's place and really enjoying it. And it was super fun. I was really excited when I got a hold of this one because I was excited to play it again and check it out for as an adult and really get into the puzzles and figure them out on my own and really enjoy that stuff. So number 35 on my list is going to be Adventures of Lolo.
$36.
Now, for number 36, you need to remember that I'm Canadian. So there's a certain sport here that is pretty big. Back in my childhood, everybody that I knew was playing hockey. And when this game came out for the NES, it was big with everybody. The hockey kids were playing it. The kids that weren't playing hockey were playing it. And we all bonded, I think, around this game. And it's got a really cool name, right? Number 36 on my list is going to be Blades of Steel. Like, yes, hockey has skates. They are blades of steel in the skates. But that's such a cool name, right? Oh, I remember everyone playing this when I was young and everyone enjoying it. They all had their teams that they liked. Hockey's huge here. It was a really big thing back then. Hockey's really big in my hometown. So Blades of Steel was the outlet for a lot of kids to play hockey on the Nintendo. And I think a lot of us preferred Blades of Steel over ice hockey or some of the other ones. Like, I mean, you could play ice hockey or you could play Blades of Steel. Like, I'm picking Blades of Steel. That's what I was picking as a kid. So number 36 on my list is going to be Blades of Steel.
$37.
So number 37 on my list is another game that has Mario in it, but it's not one of the Mario games. Number 37 is going to be NES Open Tournament Golf. Now, I have fond memories of this one. I remember playing this as a kid and thinking, oh, I could golf. Just for reference, I can't golf. I can't golf at all. There was one time that they were letting us play through, and I tried to tee off, and my ball, because there was people there, and my brain, it doesn't work like that. I was all nervous, and I swung, and I teed off, and I knocked the hubcap off the golf cart. That was like at a right angle to me. The ball was supposed to go that way, and it went directly that way and knocked the hubcap off of a golf cart. So if I'm golfing, I'm going to stick to NES Open Golf, I think, because at least I can't hurt anybody there, right? So NES Open Golf is a really fun game. I remember playing it as a kid and thinking, this is neat. I could play golf, but I can't. So we'll stick to this one. Number 37 on my list is going to be NES Open Tournament Golf.
$38.
Number 38 on my list is one I hadn't played as a child, but I played it recently, and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of that Dr. Mario Tetris style game, but it's a neat one, and it's titled after everyone's favorite dinosaur. It's going to be Yoshi. This one I would compare to Dr. Mario. You've got the stuff coming down. You got to get it lined up and get it to vanish. Now, I didn't play this one as a kid, so I don't have a lot of memories of it. So you tell me what your memories are of Yoshi if you have them. Now, remember, there's no particular order to this list. This isn't a best of list or anything like that. This is just a list of games in my library. And number 38 in that list is going to be Yoshi.
$39.
Now, I've talked about a few games in the past volumes of this series that were games that I really wanted as a kid because the advertising was so cool for them. This one falls in that category again. This one I remember seeing the ads for in comic books, in magazines, and stuff like that, and thinking, what is that? It's got a really interesting name. What is it? What is it? And it wasn't until I was an adult that I actually got it and got to play it and discovered it's a lot of fun. So number 39 on my list is going to be 8 Eyes. Now, 8 Eyes is a cool game if you can play it with 2 players. One person gets to control like the hawk and one person controls the guy. And it's kind of that Castlevania style game with that extra bits thrown in it with the hawk that can do things. Otherwise, if you're playing one player, you can swap back and forth. Now, Eight Eyes is a really cool game. It had really cool advertising as a kid, and it was one that I always wanted. So when I got my hands on this one, I was genuinely excited as an adult that I finally had Eight Eyes. So that tells you how good the advertising was in like the 80s, 90s, that this one, the thought of that stuck with me till this day. Same as Bayou Billy, same with those other ones that were like that I had to get a hold of this one. So number 39 on my list is going to be Eight Eyes.
$40.
So I saved a good one for number 40. Number 40 on my list is another one that falls into that really special time. It's going to be Disney's Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers by Capcom. Now, I remember when Rescue Rangers came out and thinking, this is such a cool cartoon. And then the game came out and you could play it as 2 players and you could pick the apples up and throw them or pick the blocks up and hide in the blocks. Like, there's a lot of thought put into this game. And it shows Capcom rocked with the Disney games. They really just knocked a bunch of them out of the park, and they were so good. I saw a comment in the last video that we talked about DuckTales, and the Capcom Disney games were awesome. Now this one I have a lot of fond memories of. I remember renting this and playing it. I never owned it, but I rented this one a lot. Like every chance I got, I would rent this one and play it because I loved Chip 'n Dale's. I loved that everything was big and you were small and it was like real world stuff, but it was like the apples were huge. Your enemies were like chipmunk size and stuff like that. It was so cool. This one is always going to hold a special place in my heart. This is one of the first Disney Capcom games I ever played, and I love it to this day. It's so good. If you haven't played Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, go try it out. It's great. All right, so that was 10 games in this list. If you haven't watched the other videos, go watch those ones. There's a lot of other videos on my channel. Check some of them out. YouTube suggests these ones here, so get into them, check them out. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I will see you next time.